It's late at night. You're in your room with the lights off, the only real light coming from the flickering CRT screen inches from your face. Shades of various colors cast over your room and everything in it as digital bleeps and bloops serenade your ears. You're not here on Earth, not right now. You're in some other world filled with the adventurous feelings of exploration, discovery, and wonder as you uncover the world's mysteries. Never mind that the things you see on the screen are represented by detailless squares and big blocks of color. This is as real as things need to be. Nostalgia is a really intense tool for modern day game developers, but it's far from an easy one to use. Channel it right and you'll have a massive following, but use it even slightly wrong and people turn their noses up at you, passing you by for something better or more interesting. Elden Pixel's Alwa's Awakening is a story about a hero summoned to a world in peril, and it channels just the right amount of nostalgia to pique your interest and then backs it up with well-designed levels and solid gameplay. It's not a perfect game by any means, and it doesn't really break any new ground, but it doesn't have to. Alwa's Awakening follows a lot of the standard conventions of old school game design. The story's pretty unimportant, and it's really just there to serve as a vessel for the adventure. The gameplay itself is, well, decent. It's floaty and kinda static at the same time, so it feels a little awkward to platform around, and combat isn't really too much of anything. As the game progresses, they add puzzly elements to a lot of the areas, and there's a splash of Metroidvania involved in pretty much everything going on in the game, so it earns some points there, at least for me. These elements don't feel forced in either, they work well with each other. Despite the game's imperfections, it really hits the nail on the head when it comes to being a certain kind of game. The main idea behind Alwa's Awakening was to capture that sense of nostalgia of a NES-like platformer, and they've hit the nail on the head. If this had been released on the NES, it could have easily been a cult classic. Not quite on the lines of Zelda and Metroid, but something known by some dedicated fans. At first, I wasn't really very into the game. The NPC dialogue was kind of off-putting and felt forced and half-baked. But as I played, I began to realize that that's the point. NPCs really just serve as hit machines, nothing more, and the game is all about you adventuring and discovering. It almost perfectly captures the same feelings that games gave me as a kid, and considering that's what they set out to do, I'd say they did a good job. As I've said, despite its flaws, Alwa's Awakening is a game that does a fantastic job of paying tribute where it sees fit, and it has the spirit of a game from the NES era woven into its code. You can pick it up on Steam for about $10. If you're up for a little adventure, then hey, you should definitely check this one out. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Indie Bytes. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please remember to leave a like and subscribe for more stuff like this. Be sure to check out the other content that we put out on this channel, and remember to drop me a line here on Twitter or through email with any game recommendations that you've got. You can find all that stuff down in the description below. I'll see you next time. Bye!